So gather around, guys, we're going to do a panel combo. And before I introduce our speakers, which I'm super excited about, because sometimes I'm like nervous because I don't know people well. I know both these guys super well, so I'm really excited. Welcome. So we've been doing events like this for almost 2 years now. Where's Justin? Justin and I started this. We did a meetup in August of 2024, and only 3 people came. And I cried for about 3 or 4 weeks. And said, we're never doing this again. And that wasn't true. We kept it going, and it became like a roaring thing after 3-4 months. We figured out how to turn it into a business about a year ago with some very helpful people like Josiah C2. Where's Josiah? Our first intern. Josiah, I'm so proud of you. You work for the Phillies now. For some reason, this light keeps turning off. Yeah, I know you can babysit it, Justin. Thank you. Josiah, we're so proud of you. So a couple other shout outs. We've got a lot of people. It's a smaller room. We kind of were like averaging 75, 80 people for the spring. You know, there's no other competition for events or anything tonight with 3 World Cup matches. Do the Phillies play tonight? No, you wouldn't even be here. Yeah, exactly. So a couple other people to shout out. Chris Collins from North Star Solutions Group is here. Yeah, awesome. It's here for Chris, everybody. Who's heard about the soccer team in Philly called Love City FC? All right, great. Jamie's here from Love City FC. Let's hear it for her. Thank you for being here, Jamie. Ben Schlegel from B-Side Events. We wouldn't have been anywhere without you. Ben introduced us to our biggest sponsor for last year, so thank you. Ben does some really awesome events and activations. So Ben, thank you so much, man, for everything that you've done. Let's hear it for Ben, everybody. All right, we're going to rattle through them. Steven from NextPick is here. Love you. Manny from Citizens Bank. I don't think Rhonda's here, the author of Grit and Grind. Sierra's didn't make it from the NFL. She spoke last time. Jeff Brandt's not here. Nate Klein is here from Venture Fizz. Welcome back, Nate. Let's hear finally for some of our OGs, champions, the people who got here. Thank you so much. And finally, Jake Stacy from JKJ, one of our annual partners. Jake, where are you? Wearing a nice jacket. There he is. Yeah. JKJ's the insurance partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. They serve in the events, NIL, space, risk, sports betting. Honestly, you guys do a lot of different things. So go talk to Jake for any insurance needs. And ultimately, we've got 2 gentlemen up here. So I've known James Robinson, I don't know, a year and a half or 2.
It's almost 2.
Probably met you guys around the same time. So what we're talking about, guys, we become fascinated with emerging leagues, pro teams, and the companies that can service the innovation growth, whether it be fan engagement, sponsorship. So even though the disc golf pro team isn't an emerging new, it's not even really a league, it serves the place of that, is that all of these organizations, whether it be the WNBA or the NWSL, that isn't exactly new either, or something like Unrivaled Basketball, all of these organizations are competing for fan attention and fan engagement. Because your match day, your ticket stuff, that's all fine, but your broadcast rights, the impressions from sponsors, all that's what actually creates the revenue to surge your organization forward. So that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. It's like a challenger league, challenger, organization kind of component. You'll serve as the league side. And James is from one of the biggest funds that we've ever met. I mean, RRE Ventures is 8 funds. The last one is $250 million. $2.5 billion under assets under management, 500 portcos. You guys have had like 125 exits. So James is up here because he sees tons and tons of deals. He sees everything, and honestly has like a pulse on the market, especially from like startup innovation. Even though you're not a founder, you could be one day, but you kind of think like one from the side of like what is actually going to be like potentially something that makes it in the ecosystem, right? So we have like existing, how many full-time staff do you have nowadays?
50.
Yeah, exactly. Disc Golf Pro Tour is a big deal nowadays. So maybe let's pass it to you guys to do like a little bit of intros. I think we should do that. Dominic, let's have you go ahead. Dominic, let's hear for Dominic DiFebo, president of the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for inviting us all here. This is, I don't know, probably 4th or 5th time I've been to an SBL event. Just really kudos to you guys for putting all the hard work into this and bringing this to the Philadelphia area. I think it's obviously a city that loves sports, and I think no better way to kind of pay homage to that, to bring all people who love sports together, who are trying to grow kind of the sports ecosystem in the city. So kudos. Actually, can we give it to a hand for our host too? Yeah, I was going to say. So Dominic DiFebo, president of Disc Golf Pro Tour. It's been about 18 months since I started. I've got kind of a 20-year career in finance prior to this. I've started and learned about disc golf back in kind of I would say mid to late 90s, and really just played it casually as whenever I could. During the pandemic, kind of was working at an investment firm. I decided, hey, this sport is growing. The professional side is growing, which I always saw as, to any sport, kind of the tip of the spear. And really, if you can grow that upper echelon, that top level of play, then you will kind of get into the hearts and minds of fans out there. So I did a partnership deal with them through the last company I was with. Got to know the CEO really well. Kind of started as an advisor, and this kind of opportunity presented itself. I thought I had a unique background to be able to do that within hospitality. I raced hydroplane powerboats, played collegiate rugby, grew up in a hospitality family and in restaurants, and had kind of a big finance background. So kind of all of those pieces together really, I think, position me well to think about the growth, the next level of growth for the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Let's hear it real quick, Dominic, guys. James, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? We heard about like a little bit of RRE Ventures, but you have a lot of things that I could say, but I'm going to let you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, James. Let's hear it for James Robinson real quick. James Robinson, the fifth.
Thank you again for having me here. Honestly, prior to, I guess RRE has been been around for 30 years now, or close to 35. And prior to RRE, though, I worked with the Boston Bruins, I worked with the National Hockey League, Octagon, all sorts throughout hospitality, Delaware North as well. And seeing that different kind of space has been something that's just been remarkable. And bringing it over to RRE was really what I really want to be able to do and within the sports industry. So it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, thank you again for having me.
James flew in from Florida. Well, I guess you're down from New York.
Yeah, definitely.
3 weeks ago, you
Don't
lived in
fall off
Boca
the chair.
Raton.
I know my
Great. All right, so let's get right into it. So, you've done some really cool things with Disc Golf Pro Tour, Dominic. You signed Powerball's, I guess, organization, a tour-wide sponsor. It's even in the logo this year. I've heard what the broadcast numbers are with your membership, the live event component, all these different things that you're up to. So, from your perspective of leading the organization that is the Disc Golf Pro Tour, which again, the analogy is like, you have the PGA and then you have the PGA Tour, Disc Golf, Professional Association, Disc Golf Pro Tour. Probably got the acronyms mixed up a little bit, but that's kind of the nice analogy. So what is it like competing for fan attention in this like really tough ecosystem where every week or two we have like a new league that has raised this money and built all this momentum? So tell us from your perspective what it takes to actually lead a successful group in this really competitive sports ecosystem today.
Yeah, happy to. And I think it's important maybe to kind of probably should have done this in my introduction, but so the Disc Golf Pro Tour operates as the leagues similar to the PGA Tour does. And so we produce about 20 to 25 tournaments, both in the US and in Europe. We're actually in Sweden right now this week for the next 2 weekends with tournaments. We also operate the Disc Golf Network, which is a OTT direct-to-consumer platform. We produce and distribute all of our own live content. We also do licensing deals with folks. We did a deal with in Estonia and Finland. We're doing some stuff. We're with All Women's Sports Network. We're working with them on a deal, and that's going out through Amazon Prime. So we're continuing to do that, but we also kind of own and operate and have all of our media rights kind of in-house, which is super important. If you think about what happened in professional sports is the media rights got fragmented, and that's really the hard thing, is to control those media rights. So kind of understanding that dynamic at the early stage of our business was super important. So we own and operate the league, we own and operate all the media rights, and we also own the distribution and production of our product. So we get to control that, which most people don't get to do as a professional sports league. So that component is really important, I think, in the basis for what we do. We also have and brought in-house kind of the largest kind of YouTube kind of content creator in the space under our roof back in 2023. So we operate kind of the tour, our live, and kind of post-production and content creation on YouTube. So I would say when we think about kind of competing for fans, I don't really look at it that way at all. I think we want to create the best product. We want to kind of meet people where they are. We think we kind of sit between this new content creator world that is huge. I mean, if you look at Dude Perfect and what they're bringing in on a yearly basis, it's astronomical. And the kind of PGA Tour, the traditional sports world, we kind of sit right in the middle. And it's a sweet spot for sure, but we're charting our own path, right? So we have over 10 million players in the United States. It's growing. There's more disc golf courses in the United States than Dunkin' Donuts. I think over the last 5 years, for every one traditional golf course, 97 disc golf courses have gone in the ground.
Wow.
So when you think about the infrastructure of growth, like the underlying fundamentals are there. What we're doing is we're trying to elevate the highest level of competition and create the biggest and largest stage for professionals and give them a career to be able to do this for a living, and then also produce and distribute the media side of our business, which we know that's where the eyeballs come from. But you have to be on all the platforms. I mean, we're like, you can't just have a single strategy in sports. You have to be everywhere your fan is. And that's super important, but it's also really challenging. I mean, it's really hard to be everywhere, but the world that we live in today and the way media is in our pockets on multiple apps, like we as a league have to be there. We have to meet our fans where they are. And so I don't even think about it as competing, because I think if I think about competing with them, I've already lost.
Yeah, it's not a fight you want. I really like that. Thank you so much. Yeah. And let's hear from your perspective, James. So, pro tip for all these founders: who's a founder who has tried to raise, has raised, or might raise money in the future? Raise your hand. Yeah. All right. Great. So one of the ways that we met all of our investor friends, they actually want to meet each other, right? They see enough deals. They want to actually see their deals from their investor friends. And we figured this out early, got lucky. I didn't know this. But James was one of our early investor friends, along with Sydney and some of these other people that you guys have met this year as our speakers. But we did everything we could to introduce James to other investors. And then what he would do, come back and be like, hey, dude, I'm looking at this deal. I'm looking at this. Who do you know who's a thought leader in this category? And it was a really cool initial relationship that you kind of created some epiphanies for us. So thank you. And the reason why I'm giving you this context is that you see deals every day, and a lot of them are new teams and new leagues. How often do you see somebody raising money for a new soccer team? Probably every freaking day. It's out of control, right? And so how do you know from the team, league, or like any sort of like challenger ecosystem thing that is creating its own ecosystem? And I like your perspective on it, Dominic, but either way, all these are technically competing for fan attention, time, sponsor resources, right? I think you have a really good attitude about it, but how do you know? Like, what are the signals you look for emerging teams, leagues, and organizations that might have what it takes to contend in this ecosystem like the Disc Golf Pro Tour has?
Well, at first I would say when you're looking at a team or a league, I mean, teams, yes, I look through about probably hundreds of decks throughout a certain amount of span. That's just honestly unfathomable. But honestly, going through it all, I would really use, I would say, my network and others that I see in the deal, and I really pick their brain on how they're thinking, how the founder's thinking, why are they thinking this, and why now? That's really when one of the questions that really stops a lot of founders is why now, why this way, why you? And honestly, when I'm talking to a founder and they're giving me the entire story, if they're just openly honest throughout the entirety of the actual story of the company, and then what is honestly going on that I might not know right now. And if you go through that entirely throughout, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes of going through the story, you can get basically down to the bottom line. And that's really where I would say RRE itself has been just great, because we see a lot of deals throughout. I'd say we see a lot of different leagues, tech, and et cetera, and going through it using the network, right? We talked about it. The amount of deals that I see, who's sending this deal? Hey, who do you know? That's really how we work. I mean, honestly, as investors, is we're using a back channeling through, I would say, through certain, just not even back channeling. I would just say like Sydney, she's great because she knows, right? But using, how do I say she knows, is because she uses her honestly, just the people that she knows, her network, so well, so efficiently. And you can basically come up with an answer within 36 hours, not like a lot of other VCs that will take maybe 2 or 3 weeks that you see. Honestly, if you really have the amount going forward for the actual company, you can move mountains.
Yeah, I love that. James is referring to Sydney Cobal from Newbound Venture Capital that was a speaker here in April. And I do think legitimately one of my first investor friends ever. And it's really interesting. So like, I'm going to distill down what James said and like, investors are terrified on missing out on something, right? Like, it's a very interesting psychology. Once you talk to enough founders who've actually raised a lot of money and exited companies, it's not this like begging for funding type of thing. Like, they're terrified to miss. And if you think about an investor who's writing $250,000 checks and it goes to zero, they don't care. They think your company's going to zero. But they're going to think long and hard about that company that they passed on for $250, that their $250 would have been worth $50 million. That's what they care about. So why now? Why are you going to miss this boat? You kind of have to flip the script. And so you tell them, I'm not raising, but I'm going to slip you this deal early. And then you come back in like 4 weeks and it's like, dude, this is about to close. And you have to have the right
And then you got to have the right network to be able to go into it and be able to, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like that's when you need to flip the switch and be like, okay, I need to go get this because this deal is really hot right now. Deals come out consistently all the time, hot, and it'd be so quick, and you have to know the right person. And that's when we really get excited. Or honestly, finding our own deal that's just like, hey, it's actually the hot deal that everybody wants, and then you see about maybe flood around maybe 200 to maybe 250 different emails from different VCs or investors themselves. And you're like, wow, no, this is actually the hot deal.
Yeah, Dominic actually used to manage $1 billion portfolio
Yeah.
before the meeting, so I'm sure you have something to add here.
Yeah, I think in the investing world, you're constantly focused on the future, right?
Yeah.
Like the here and now is one thing, but like you're skating to where the puck is going. And every investor has a different perspective on where that puck is going, right? And so you really have to find, and I think as a business, right, you want investors who are aligned with the vision that you have set forward. If as a founder you don't have a clear vision to where you're going, investors are going to sniff that out on day one, and you're not going to get a check written to you. So you have to be really, really disciplined in your approach and how that capital is going to be used, and how that capital is going to turn into, ROI back to that investor. And if you're not constantly thinking about that and have a real clear vision, it's going to be impossible to raise capital.
Yeah, this is great. And I think there's like a lot of levers you could be pulling as president. We see a lot about fan engagement, sponsorship technology. You didn't mention too much about Powerball. I'd love to hear about how you look at creative, either sponsorship approach solutions, hospitality. You have a lot of like VIP and different things that stadiums do to like accommodate for those fans. Partnerships focus. So I'd love to look at like as you go forward in leading this 50-person, 8-figure revenue organization. What are you thinking about as we look downstream, Dominic?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think this is the fun part, right? This is the part that like gets me out of bed every day, because like I love sports. I love kind of the future and thinking downfield and how do we get there, right? What are the pieces together, right? You always you spend your entire life kind of collecting the dots, and at some point you figure out how to connect them all. And when you do, those kind of magic moments happen. And so, as I came to this role 18 months ago, it was really how do I get my arms around this thing, around this company, find out what's working, find out what's not working, kind of fix those pieces. So really a lot of the first 18 months was like putting the right pieces in place so that we can scale. Now we're working a lot, right? So like, you mentioned Powerball. That was a huge deal for us. Super excited. They're presenting partner of the tour and for our playoffs. I'll have the Powerball Cup this year, which would be super fun. Awesome. And they've been a fantastic partner. I mean, really and truthfully, and we meet with them once a week to talk about, activations and talk about, new things. They've been super thrilled with everything thus far. We've done some cool fan engagement stuff with Powerball that kind of really aligns with their brand. We're doing another kind of fan engagement with them right now, and we'll rethink it next year, right? And we'll kind of go back to the drawing board and say what worked, what didn't work. And we have to be nimble. Like we have a nimble team where, we have about 50 full-time employees and probably another 100 contractors that we work with. Our commentating team, our camera operators and folks that we work with on a normal basis. But really the next level is our on-site. So I always like to say we have our players, our three stakeholders are our players, our fans, both on-site and online, and then our partners. And so my job is to create value for each one of those three key stakeholders. If we can continue to create value for each one of those three stakeholders, we will inherently be doing our job, right? We will be, by definition, growing. So the on-site is super important. We are creating new kind of ticket opportunities. We do see hospitality is a super important part of our overall business. And so how do we create a hospitality offering that aligns with the brand of who we are, but also, levels up the fan experience so that we can kind of tap into new revenue streams. And that's great. Like our players are super involved. Our players are super important to how we do that. So we've done stuff where we bring players to dinner with fans. We did something cool at the World Championships last year, where we had kind of a super kind of VIP package that was really kind of a white glove type of service. And we had multiple dinners. We brought players out. We had We had content creators come out and play with the group. All kinds of unique things that, because of how nimble we are as an organization, we're able to kind of accomplish. And then, the data analytics, we brought in Blinkfire AI this year to really help us kind of quantify the data around, impressions and the amount, where logo placements are. And that's not only helped us deliver that value back to Powerball, but it's also sharpening really sharpening us to say, where are ad placements on the course? How are they getting picked up? We have multiple products. We have our live product, we have our post-production product, and kind of things show up differently in different places. So we're able to kind of create new assets to be able to sell for partners, and we're being able to kind of refine the placement of different things and where logos are showing up to really add more value to partners. So we continue to always think outside the box and how we can kind of deliver not a inventory, here's our inventory, but really try to create solutions for partners, kind of meeting them where they're trying to grow.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, creating new assets for teams and things. I think of what Greg Sampson is doing with courtside video, right? Can you create a new asset that you can sell against it to an advertiser or a sponsor? Or like what our friends at Vocal have done, where you get like a personalized AI generated insight about like this game you're about to go to. And it's like a new sponsorable thing for the team. So you technically can boost their revenue. So we see tons of tech about tracking and measuring sponsorships, sponsorship enablement, and creating new sponsorable assets. It's really big. So James, unfortunately, I think we kind of like worked through some of your questions, so we're going to freestyle.
Let's do it. Come on.
Your plan questions were, how do you spot the new teams and leagues? And then what do you really look for in like founders and decks and companies? And we kind of talked about all of those. So you can either double down on more things that actually will get you to pass that deck up to your board. Because we send cool stuff to James, and I know how it works. If you like it, there's still another gate that you have to get through, and it's like, I gotta pass it to these older guys, right? Yeah. So like, you can either give us more advice on how to get through, like how do you raise an eyebrow? So it's like, yeah, I'll forward that along, or like any sort of trends or things. Like I know you're really into golf tech, and because that's into golf as well. You're like a golf power couple. So either any market trends or any more advice for raising money or how to think like a big fund, anything like that. Love to hear more, James.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to get your sugar good. So I would say trends. I've been seeing a lot around quantum computing. I know it's not really in the sports realm, but that's been actually a trend that's been actually really interesting. Been learning a lot of. So has Cosette, sadly. But no. And then honestly, in the sports world, I would say, all right. So I would say a company called, I'm going to call out a couple of companies. You do what you want. Mashin, which basically analyzes what your food at the concession standpoint looks at. Basically prices it all out for you within, I think it's within like 7 to 9 seconds. It basically has it done. They did a thing at one hockey, at one stadium. I don't know if I can say it, but at Little Caesars. The other one was at TD Garden. And, this is actually really interesting, which is the fandom level is just another, to a T. Detroit basically had their fans for a Detroit Red Wings game, and no one really thought to think about picking up this machine, being able to throw it. Well, in Boston, they very much thought about that as people that if you're around people from Boston, very passionate fans, especially for the Boston Bruins or Celtics. And fans figure that out very quickly, actually, before the first period ended. Why do I bring that up? Because technology within the venue systems of venues have just been, honestly, eye approved. You see Wicket, you see Mashin, you see all, Safari.ai, you see Qs, you see all these companies. Qs looks at the amount of people that are at a game, and basically, tell you how many people are there, what seats there are, what the concession time standpoint is. It's not a heat map like Safari.ai, which uses a heat map to be able to understand where bathroom to concession standpoints to grab and goes. You have grab and goes or et cetera. All these different companies, Wicked and iProof, are looking on facial recognition, be able to, go to the actual venue and look at it and be like, oh, wow, it's the yaw moment. We've lost that, by the way. The yaw moment at the two facilities has been completely gone. So you ask about where I've been looking, where the trends, it's the infrastructure within the sports, world. And it's been really interesting.
Yeah, it's funny, because everybody can vibe code a product now, it's actually like the physical things. I would call it prop tech, and your friend Conrad over at Wise.
Very much so.
Tech. So before we close down, get your questions ready. We're going to do Q&A. Any other final advice for leading a big organization, Dominic, before we go to Q&A?
Yeah, I'll say, I mean, I should have said this from the beginning, so I apologize, but I mean, team is everything, right? I mean, your team, your team you rely on, you really look for who you can lean on, right? Like startup world is hard and like you have to make it known, right? But you need passion, you need passionate employees who are going to step up to the plate when you really need them and work together as a team. So I think a lot about that kind of every day is how do we rally the team? How do we continue to build and add the right pieces to our team to help us grow into the future? So yeah.
Let's hear it for our panelists, Dominic and James. Both of you came in from other states to be here. Who's got some questions for either one of these guys? Yep. Josiah, you want to yell or you want to come up here? Just yell. Yeah, go ahead.
Bring it.
Dominic, I think it's really motivating to the league behind. What are some of the unique fan engagement opportunities that you've seen from being in that?
I mean, well, yeah, we're doing a ton. I mean, one of the things is Whatnot has become a really new stream for us. Actually, Whatnot now has like their own like disc golf associate that now that we actually work with, and so our retail team works a lot with them. So it's a way for us as we had new trading cards come out and things like that. Those products are super fun to be engaging with. We do kind of do packs. We give people packs come into our on site and we do a ton of fun social media stuff with them. One of the Powerball activations is kind of going and kind of surprising a fan with with an upgrade, ticket upgrades and things like that, and doing that with social. The other one we're doing is like a hole-in-one challenge that we're doing it's on Saturday, so it aligns well with the Powerball drawing. And we started at $5,000, and it's just like every week that it doesn't get hit, it goes up, just like Powerball. Kind of it accrues all the way through the year. But everyone, and we do like a closest to the pin for $500. It's like there's going to be a winner every week, and that's just been a fun way to get fans on coverage. So that is on our live coverage, which is really fun, and that really door opened because of Powerball, right? And so when you bring partners in, they're always looking for something. It gets us kind of really thinking about how do we create something that really well aligns with with that partner. I don't know if that fully answers your question, but we're always doing stuff with always. I mean, our social media team is super busy across all platforms, so we're constant.
Josiah, can you hook people up with ticket discounts for the Phillies or what?
I wish I could. Too many requests to answer, yeah.
You kicked butt with us last year, dude. We love you, man. Thank you so much. Who's got another question? Greg Sampson, you want to yell or you want to come up here?
Sorry, I made it heard half of that, but I'm going to say within.
Instead of leading with everything's AI now, Greg's talking about being AI second. So I guess it's kind of involved, but not the like bleeding edge aspect, right? Is this it? Okay, great.
I'm still kind of confused. What do you mean?
I think what I'm hearing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I only because I live it. So
no,
I mean,
fine.
I think there's one. It's like, do we go out and create like? Do we become some sort of AI company, or do we just leverage different AI technologies to further and better improve our product? And I think that's a lot of what we're doing. I mean, trust me, people are many deals as people are coming to you, technology companies are coming to me and hey, we want to sell you this product. I get it all the time, and I'm always willing to listen. I'm always I try to best I can, because I know that there are going to be tools that are going to really help improve our process. They're going to help improve our product. Just like Placer AI we brought on to help analyze kind of our sites, and we Blinkfire AI to help really kind of track logo impressions and things like that across our broadcast. So we are layering in AI kind of, everywhere we can. That's helpful. But
anything you want to add, James?
Yeah, I mean, very much so. I mean, yes, to that point. Yeah, from an investor standpoint, I would say though, like it's very much you have to be very cognizant of how the founders talking around AI and how the usage is. That's really for us has been one of the top things for us. I hate saying things, but one of our on our list is how much AI is being used. Do you understand how to use it? And to the point of how you're gonna take your product and build from it. Because it's very much of living it day to day as you do. For me, it's very much on, do you know how to, do you understand it? Do you know where it's going? Do you understand what's the future looking more around it? So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that question, Greg. Let's do at least one more question. We can't stop with 3. Who's got another question? Hunter, we can come to you next, but I cannot remember your name, but...
Yes, we met today. I'm the
I know you're from Expedia, yeah.
Yes.
Do you want the mic or you want to shout it out?
I will shout it out.
Let's go, yeah.
For Dom, I was curious about how you activate your athletes and how they are representatives for the league and how you leverage them as a way to drive revenue.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And I mean, we have a card process, and we have a players council as well that we work with the players council quite closely. I have a great relationship with them. So kind of helping them set that up was important, but also having kind of the NIL for our players to be able to say, hey, can we pull you into this? Can we pull you into that? I would say they're always like, we very rarely get a no, right? We've done pro-ams this year. That's been a new thing for us. So that's something that we can charge for, right? To bring people in for a pro-am, and obviously bring our players in for that. We do all kinds of stuff with our players. We do social media stuff with our players. They do ads for us. I mean, we really try to leverage our players as much as possible because they are, right? That's what they all are. A lot of our players are content creators of their own right. Like they all have YouTube channels. They all have big social media followings. So we want to try to, and that's some of our roots, right? Is because of that, that helps us. So then we can, anytime we're doing something with our player, like we're making sure that, it's going on their channel, it's going on our channel. We're collaborating on everything. We're collaborating with different leagues, with other leagues. We did a thing with Banana Ball, with Savannah Bananas and Party Animals down in New Orleans this year. Just got released on our GMS Pro channel, YouTube channel, which was super fun. Kind of created a new concept. We kind of tried out, but everyone's mic'd up. It was super fun. I think we're going to try to do something else with them. We're doing stuff with Detroit Tigers up in for World Championships this year up there. We did stuff with Kansas City Royals. We're trying to really cross too and bring our players into those others. So create the opportunities for our players to engage with other professional sports leagues. We see that as, and then obviously all that gets brought into social and gets built into some of our other content. We had a couple players follow the camera around New Orleans, and they went down Bourbon Street, and that we then turned that into, we actually had a guy kind of put that into a ability to be able to put in our broadcast like the following day. So we're constantly using our players as a part of our media strategy. It's super important. I think we have to.
Cool thing. Let's do one final blitz question. Hunter, can you shout it out? I know you're the tallest guy in the room. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so as investors, as founders, something that we always deal with is pressure. You can't necessarily eliminate that pressure because you're in a high-stake environment. I'm curious about, as individuals, how do you guys navigate the pressures that come with organizing and working in the businesses or an investing and leadership side? How do you do it as a personal kind of experience?
Let's hear it. How do you handle pressure, James? Let's go. Yeah.
I would say, honestly, throughout pressure, I would say our general partners have just been phenomenal, second to none. Any time that we have any like a question or, hey, this deal really got accelerated really quickly, we're associates currently, and very much throughout that is just still learning. So using our general partners, being able to execute, and yeah, I would say that's really what we do.
You don't know anything about pressure. What are you talking
No,
about?
he does nothing.
Pressure.
Come on.
Practice. Practice. No, but it's true. Practice is. I mean, right? You have to practice it day in and day out, right? Like you really. I don't ever think about pressure. Maybe that's just weird. Maybe that's grown up in sports.
Wow.
I think I thrive in it. I think I actually welcome it. I think I perform better under pressure in a lot of ways. And I probably not the conventional answer that you're probably used to hearing, but as they always say, I'm not saving babies, right? I'm not saving lives here. We're trying to build something together, right? We're working as a team to build something together. And part of my job is being a coach, right? Like making sure what players do you have on the field, right? Are they able to perform? I think you get under pressure when you're not able to kind of take accountability, when you're not able to have people on your team take accountability for the work and the actions that they perform. And but that's ultimately as a leader what you're trying to do, right? You're saying like, look, we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes, but like we have to own those mistakes. We have to own up to it. And that's where kind of culture comes in, right? That is culture in my mind, right? It's like owning it together. And I feel like you don't put yourself in as many pressure situations when you are planning appropriately, when you're forecasting out the best of your ability. And then when you hit those roadblocks, you have to be able to, you have to be able to work through it, right? You can't get upset. You can't point fingers at people.
Sure.
You have to look through and say, how do we work through this together? And in those situations, usually that's when your best results happen. When adversity hits. We had some of that this year. We had a few people leave, and we had leaders step up. And like I'm so proud of our team right now. And to see, and this was on a team call today. We were just talking about this, and I'm just super proud of seeing people step up to that challenge under pressure. And I think that's what makes our company stronger at the end of the day. So I think pressure is important. I think everyone needs to be put under some sort of pressure and able to see how they're going to perform in those situations.
Absolutely. Good leaders have gratitude and appreciation towards their team. And at this time, I want to shout out Justin Tichenel, my co-founder. Thank you. And Ian Brandt, who most likely let you in today. Thank you, Ian, for being a part of the crew. And Josiah Situ for being with us along the way. Let's hear it one more time for Dominic DiFebo and James Robinson. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming.